Hey, hey, what's up, stay-at-homies? Hope you're having a great day so far. Today, we are going to use this one little piece of paper to make a tiny little contraption. Some people call it a fortune teller. Some people call it a cootie catcher. I don't know what I want to call it yet, haven't decided. You need a piece of paper. If it's not already a square, you'll need scissors to turn it into a square. So like this is a rectangular piece of paper. I'll have to trim a little bit of it off to make it an actual square. And I'll show you how to do that easily and accurately so you actually have a square. And then there'll be some folding. Once we've got it folded, there'll be a little bit of writing. You'll get to choose some things that you want to include. So for now, find a piece of paper. Find a pair of scissors if your paper is a rectangle that needs to be turned into a square like mine, and we'll get started. All right, so this is just a regular piece of like printer paper. It's 8.5 by 11 is the measurement, but because I need my paper to be a square, this is a bit of a problem. So what I'm going to do is take one corner and fold it over. What I'm doing as I fold it is I'm checking to make sure that these sides are lined up and that I'm making the crease right in this corner over here. I don't want it to be all kind of winky and not lined up, because then I won't actually have a square. So it's going to end up looking like that. And as you can see, I've got this strip along the bottom. If I cut that off, then I'll actually have a square. I don't know what I did with my big scissors, so I'm going to use my small ones. So I'm just holding the paper together and taking my time so that I follow along this edge of the paper. So this is my leftover scrap piece of paper that I don't need. I'm going to put that in my scrap bin. And then I've got this, which when I unfold it, is a perfect square. So this next part, this is the folding part. So I've already got this one diagonal crease. What I want to do is the same diagonal crease going this way, so it'll almost look like I have an X going across my square. So that's another corner to corner fold. Make sure everything is lined up on the sides. And then when you are folding, it's good to run your fingers along, pressing down so you get a nice crease. All right. So you can see I've got my square. I've creased it twice, so it's like I have an X in there. Now this next step, what I'm going to be doing is folding each of the four corners in so that they just touch in the very center of my X. So I like to do the corner that's closest to me and really take my time, make sure it's lined up, and then press it down and crease with my fingers. And then as I go, I turn the paper so that I'm always able to see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. So I've got my square with each of the four corners folded into the center. Now what I want to do is keep all of this together, but flip it over so that all of the folded edges are on the bottom. And then I'm actually going to do the same thing. So I'm going to fold the four corners into the center again. It's a little bit trickier this time because now, of course, I'm folding more than just the one layer of paper. But the process is the same. right, so now I've got my 4 corners all folded in, touching in the center for the second time. Now what I'm going to do is fold this in half. Give it a good crease. Now this step is a little bit tricky. You're kind of popping everything out. So what I like to do is kind of reach into the center and just sort of press down as I pull these flaps out, and I can slide my fingers into that little compartment. Takes a little bit of maneuvering. You don't want to be rough with the paper and have it rip, of course. There we go. All right, so I've got it all folded. Now from here, there's a few things I can do. I could actually turn this into a little puppet. I could tape or glue these sections together, and then these sections together, and then I've made a little mouth. So that's kind of fun. Hello. That's actually not what I'm going to do with mine. I am going to turn mine into, I guess we would call it like a fortune teller. So I'm going to be adding some different things with marker. You could use pencil or pen or whatever you have lying around. And it becomes almost like a game. So there's tons of ways that you can actually do this. I think what I'm going to do is, because, you know, I'm a music teacher and I love music and instruments, I'm going to do the instrument families on my outside parts. And I'm going to do some numbers on the inside parts. And I'm not sure yet what the fortunes are going to be. But I am ready to get started, and while I'm preparing the rest of it, I can be thinking about what the fortunes could be. So I'm going to start by writing my instrument family names. Now, it's a lot easier to write if you kind of flatten everything out again. Okay, so I've written my instrument families on these outer flaps. So when I pop it back out, it looks like that. Now on this inside part, I've actually got 8 little triangles to write on. So this is a really great place to use numbers, because you don't have a ton of space to write anything too big or long. So a number is great, and you could mix them up. You could do them in order, but you've got 8 little spots. So I'm just going to use numbers for mine, and I think I might mix mine up a little bit. So the numbers are on the inside. And when we move the fortune teller, the cootie catcher back and forth like this, we see a different selection of numbers. Now the last step is for me to decide what I want the fortunes to be underneath these flaps. So I need to come up with 8 different fortunes. So these are fun if they're kind of a little bit silly, nothing too serious or crazy. I might put things like, one day you will be a rock star, or one day you will learn how to play the tuba, or something like that. So I'm going to do some musical themed fortunes, and I'm going to write them underneath each number. I do want to be careful about where I write it. So I'm going to use the lines that the folds have created to help me. So for example, in this section here, I will want one fortune written under the 8 and a different fortune written under the 3. So when I open it up and write, I have to be kind of careful not to cross that center line. Okay, so I've got a couple examples to show you here. So underneath the 8, I have you will become a famous opera singer. Under the 3, you'll learn to play the tuba. So they're just kind of silly, they're for fun. If you're not doing a music themed, you could do anything like one day your job will be, and then you could come up with something kind of crazy. Or you will live in a giant mansion. Or it could be about silly pets that people will have, or just anything that's just kind of lighthearted and fun. That's what this is meant to be. So I'm going to keep writing my fortunes, and then we're going to test it out. All right, so I've got all of my different fortunes written on the inside. Now, of course, this works better when you have somebody else to play with, because I know what all the fortunes say because I made it. But because I'm the only human in my house and my cats don't actually speak English, it'd be very helpful if they did, I'm just going to demonstrate so that you know how it works. Okay, so first of all, the person that you're asking, you would give them the 4 options on the top of your fortune teller. So on mine, it's the 4 instrument families. Okay, so let's say I chose the string family. So I'm going to spell the word string. And as I spell it, I'm going to open and close my fortune teller, but I'm going to switch directions. So I can open it this way and that way. So it's almost like across and up and down. So I'm going to spell string while I take turns, opening and closing different directions. Okay, watch closely. S, T, R, I, N, G, and then I stop, because this is showing the 4 options that the person gets next. So now I would look, okay, so it's 4, 8, 3, or 7. Those are the options. So I don't get to choose from any of the other numbers because they're not visible. They're hidden right now. So let's say this person chooses 4. Then we're going to open and close, just like we did before, taking turns different directions, 4 times, or whatever number they choose. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they get to choose another number. And we're open to the same place just because that's the way it worked out. So this time the person is going to choose 7, let's say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this time, whichever number they choose, that's the flap that we lift to read their fortune. So let's say this person chooses 2. So that means you're going to unfold and make sure that you read the fortune underneath the number that they picked. You will invent a new kind of instrument. Okay, let's do one more practice. So let's pretend I've gone to another member of my family and I said, okay, it's your turn. So here are your options. You've got woodwind, brass, percussion, and string. Those are the 4 instrument families. So let's say this person chooses brass. So remember how we're going to open and close, taking turns, going different directions while we spell the word. So it's B, R, A, S, S. And then we stop on that one, and that gives them their next set of options. So it looks like they've got 5, 6, 1, or 2. So this person is going to choose 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they're going to choose 3. 1, 2, 3. And now they choose their fortune, and this person is going to choose 6. You will write a song that will be a #1 hit. Yeah. All right, so there you go. That's how you do it. They're a lot of fun. I remember making these when I was a kid. So I hope you had fun. That's it for me today. So until next time, be brave, be kind, and wash your hands. Bye.